What is up, guys? My name is Alex from Social Confidence Lab, and today I'm going to show you how to find a great paying job completely online and remote. Now, this tutorial is good for anyone in the world, but since I'm in Latin America right now, it's especially really great for people living in Latin America, people living in Asia, because you can find there's so many online jobs out there by American companies, European companies, and they pay in dollars and in euros. So for them, it's actually much cheaper to hire someone in Latin America. But the pay for someone in Latin America is actually really good if you're getting paid in dollars. So it's really a win-win for you and their company. So without further ado, let's dive into the tutorial.
All right, so first we're going to start with the different types of online jobs you can find. And there's really so many different types of online jobs. So I'm just going to cover some of the most common ones. One of the most common ones that anyone can really start with is a virtual assistant. So as a virtual assistant, you really don't need any skills. The most important things that employers are looking for is someone who is organized and has attention to detail and is reliable. So this can be various different tasks. Maybe an employer needs you to organize their bookings. They need you to organize their schedule. Maybe do some data entry, kind of just copying and pasting some data from one source to another. For example, I hire a virtual assistant, and all he does is I have one area, one website, and all he does is copy and paste some text and puts it into a Google Sheet. And it's literally just copy, paste, repeat for a few hours a day. It really doesn't take any skills. It's really just attention to detail. He has to make sure he copies and pastes correctly, that sort of stuff. So virtual assistant jobs usually don't require any skills, but the more skills you have, the better assistant you can be to an employer, whoever it is. And there's tons and tons and tons of virtual assistant jobs out there. I'll show you later how to find them. But the hourly rate can range from $3 to $15. I pay my virtual assistant $5 an hour. He's in Egypt. I know people that pay $10. I know people that pay also like $3. 3 is usually the lowest it'll go to. Then there's graphic design. So graphic design is a super, super high in demand skill for so many different types of companies, especially online companies. They always need to design their social media marketing, their email campaigns, their advertisements, so many different types of graphic design use cases. And the salary for this also ranges from 5 to 50. And this really depends on your skill level. If you're a really good graphic designer, you can make easily over 50. I've used graphic designers that are as low as 5, and then I've had them as high as $40. So it really depends on your skill level. So if you like graphic design and you want to get better at it, it's absolutely a great skill that you can work on and just keep getting better at. And your salary, how much you make, will keep going higher. And the great thing about graphic design is, when people are looking for a graphic designer, the design speaks for itself. So if you're a good designer, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in, Peru, Latin America, or you're in Asia, or you're in America. If you have good design skills, it will show through your portfolio. So that's what matters most. Then there is social media marketing. This is more of like, Facebook, handling a Facebook page, which also usually involves design work. This can range from $10 to $30. Online advertising. This is a bit more skilled. If you don't know online advertising, you're not going to get a job at this typically right away. I mean, I actually did. I actually worked at a startup marketing agency, but normally they do look for people with experience. Copywriting, that's sales writing, writing blog articles. That's definitely something you can make a lot with. And I actually have a copywriter that I pay, and he charges $70 an hour. That's like the higher end even goes to $100 an hour. So if you're a really good copywriter, you know how to sell people through your writing, you can make definitely a ton of money. Then there's SEO. If you know some SEO, you can do that. These are mostly marketing skills that I talked about. But if you know programming, things like that, those are definitely super high demand skills. You can make money online. Then there's things like you could teach a language. For example, if you know English, you could teach English. I know a lot of people traveling the world that all they do is teach English online for a few hours a day, and they're able to travel the world. You can also be a transcriber. So whenever people need a video, put into captions or change the language. They need a transcriber. There's tons of more jobs. I've only included the most common. If you just Google, ways to make money online or on types of online jobs, you'll find a ton more. But for a lot of people that are in Latin America, something to start with is virtual assistant, because that's kind of, very broad. So now let's look at where to find these jobs. So there's tons of freelance sites. Freelance just means, you work independently. You're not a full-time employee of the company. You're a contractor. So one of the main popular sites is Upwork. When I first started working as a freelancer, when I quit my job to, I wanted to travel and get my own, clients basically, I used Upwork to find jobs. And great site. This is it right here. So basically, you can just, after you make an account, you can search. I would just type virtual assistant job, and then you find tons of different postings, and you can click into it. You can read the description, and then you submit if you're interested, you can submit a proposal. And I have a whole different section on how to actually write good proposals, because you're basically selling yourself. When you're applying for a job, you're selling your skills. So learning how to write effectively and communicate and persuade effectively using words on the internet, using words, text is really effective and really a great skill to have. So Upwork is an amazing site, and there's so many postings on there from companies and small businesses all over the world. You'll have you'll have so many options on Upwork. And this is my favorite one. Upwork is my favorite. And I've included a link to a site where you can learn how to write really good proposals. I'm going to link that on the bottom of the YouTube and the description as well. Definitely check it out if you're going to use Upwork, because it's all about writing good proposals, sending those applications. If you just copy and paste an application to every single one of these, you're not going to get a job. But if you really tailor it and really use some good, effective communication, your chance of getting and winning a contract in Upwork is much higher. Then there's a bunch of other freelance sites, Fiverr, freelancer.com. You can check these out, but Upwork should be enough for you. You can try Fiverr too. Fiverr's got a lot. Then there's also Indeed or Glassdoor. Now, if you're checking Indeed, definitely check the one in the US. If you're in a Latin American country, it's going to automatically go to the, for example, I'm in Peru. So when I type in Google Indeed, it automatically goes to the Peruvian one. But you want to type Indeed USA jobs, or Indeed, whatever country it is. Then you can type, whatever it is you're looking for, whether it's graphic design or virtual assistant. Here you can see there's tons and tons of virtual assistant jobs. This person is looking for an administrative assistant. And you can just apply on the website. This one is looking for someone to help with their bookings, manage their basically schedule of different types of bookings. So you can just click apply on company's site, and yep, you're good to go there. Let's go back. Also, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a definitely growing place to find jobs. So definitely utilize LinkedIn. I've actually hired some of my best people that I've hired is from LinkedIn. And yeah, you can just type virtual assistant on LinkedIn or graphic design, and you can look at all these different countries. And there's tons and tons of jobs there. Another great way to find online jobs is Facebook groups, and most people don't really realize that how great of an opportunity this is. I found a lot of my clients with a lot of job opportunities from Facebook groups. So basically, just go into Facebook, you go into the search, and you can just type, let's say you're a designer, design freelance jobs, and you want to find a Facebook group. Now you can actually use the Facebook actual jobs feature, but you can also do that. But I recommend going into the groups. So there's tons. Look at this. It has over 200,000 members, 188,000 members, 48,000 members. And you go into the group, you join the group, and you can either post that. You can post telling people you are available for hire. Maybe include your portfolio, some of your relevant experiences. Don't put your college experience. Nobody really cares about that. All they care about is your actual experience and can you do the job. You can create a post, or you can do the search, maybe looking to hire. Yep, I'm looking to hire, blah, blah, blah. Looking to hire. Or you can just type hire. And yeah, find those people posting on there. Now that I'm employing people, I actually go on these groups and I post, I'm looking for a designer, and I get interviews from this. And when you're also, replying to people or messaging people for a job, always remember to talk about the value you can offer them, and always come prepared with, any relevant experience or portfolio design, or whatever it is, whatever it may be. So there's tons of different Facebook groups. You could type marketing groups, which aren't necessarily for jobs, but a lot of people I see there are basically getting jobs from these marketing groups. There's so many, literally so many, like infinite amount of Facebook groups that you can use to find jobs. Just beware of scams on Facebook groups. Whenever a lot of people post saying, make 5,000 a month guarantee, a lot of times it's involved cryptocurrency. Those are scams. Stay away from those. Also, beware of multi-level marketing, which is also called network marketing, aka pyramid scheme. People are going to say, become your own boss, build your own business. And basically, they want you to resell their product and then recruit other people under you to resell the product. And it's literally a pyramid scheme. So beware of that, but definitely use Facebook groups as a resource to find really good jobs that otherwise you might not find on other sources. Now, this is something for me. This is how I found my first job. Instead of applying the normal way, you can apply. For example, you go to this one. You can go to their company website, and yeah, you can submit an application the normal way. But typically, they get so many. A company that posts a job posting on Indeed, they're going to get a lot of applications, and you're just going to be cluttered. So unless you really stick out, it's really hard to stick out. When you're just a bunch of pile of resumes. So you could, apply for the job, which I do recommend you doing. Apply the normal way, but there's a hack that you can do, and this is how I was able to drastically get way more interviews, way more job opportunities, and it's basically just by skipping the line. Basically, instead of applying the normal way, just message or email the recruiter directly. And there's a number of different ways you can do this. For example, let's look at this virtual assistant job. It's posted by this guy, Garrett. You can just go ahead, open link in new tab. You can add him. I have his profile right here. So all you gotta do is connect. So you can't actually message him directly unless you're connected with him. But what you can do is you can connect with him and then add a note. So add a note of exactly why you want to connect with him. And this is where you can basically say that you're interested in the job. I'll go in more detail on how to write effectively. You don't want to always just say, "Oh, I am interested in the job." That's it. You want to go in more detail of why they should hire you. And the next slide, I will go in more detail. But first, I want to show you how to actually get in contact with these people. So let's do another example that's not on LinkedIn. So this company, Double, if you go on their site is called With Double. So you can actually email the people directly on this company. And there's a really cool way to do that. So first, what I would do is, I want to find who is the point of contact. Who is the person that is actually going through the applications and going to make a decision? And it's usually going to be a recruiter, human resources, something of that nature. So what I would do is so you can just search Double, or With Double, I think is the company name. Double. Here's the company. It's some kind of software company. And let's see. Yep, it's right here. So if you click into that, go under people. So in LinkedIn, which most companies do update nowadays, you can go under people and you can actually search. This is a pretty decently small company. So right here, we're hiring. This person will be someone that is obviously looking to get applications. So you can go on LinkedIn, message her on LinkedIn, but also this is how I got my job. Instead of going on LinkedIn where she's probably also getting a lot of messages, you can get to her email, her business personal email directly. And the way to do that is it's a cool tool. It's called email/checker.net. So basically every company, if you find their website name, their email is going to be at withdouble.com. So for example, like Facebook, if you want to contact someone on Facebook, their email is going to be at facebook.com, or it's actually fb.com. But it's usually always going to be it's going to be at websitenames.com. So that's going to be the domain name. And if you want to find the first name, for example, we want to contact Natasha. Most of the time for a company, it's just going to be the first name at domainname.com. So it would be Natasha at withdouble.com. And with this tool, we can actually verify if this is a real email. So I typed in Natasha at withdouble.com, and you check it, and the email address is valid. So now we can be almost completely certain that this is Natasha's email. So instead of going through this resume, going into Indeed, where she's going to be getting hundreds of different different applications, you can send a personalized direct email right to her email. And she's going to, 99% of the time, she's going to actually see it because it's going to her actual email. So this is a way to just completely skip the line if you do it this way. And this is how I got my job and how I've heard many other stories of other people getting jobs. So if you really have dedication and determination to get a job, there's really no excuse. You can absolutely get someone's attention and get a response and then get an interview. And this brings me to my last point, which is when you're applying for a job, you are persuading the company or employer why they should have you, how you're going to add value and make their life easier. So essentially, you are doing sales. A salesperson is someone selling something that's going to add value, and they need to communicate that. You are selling yourself and your skills. A great book I recommend where I learned so much of this is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is like a absolute legend of book, all-time classic, New York Times bestseller for like the past 50, 100 years. Definitely check it out if you're really interested. But some just summaries of what it is. When you're writing an email or sending an application or sending a LinkedIn message, stop saying, I. Whenever you write a paragraph, find sentences where you see the word I and try to replace it with you or your. You don't want to talk about yourself, why I'm interested. You want to talk about them, how you're going to help them, not how their company can help you. So, for example, most people say, I'm interested in the position. Instead, say, your company seems like a great place to work in. Talk about them. Everyone likes to be talked about. They don't care as much about you. Everyone likes to receive compliments or, talk about themselves. They don't want to hear so much about you. Obviously, when they get to the interview, your skills, obviously, you need to talk about yourself. But you still need to do it in a way on how you're going to give value to them. So my next point, tell them how you will add value to them. I always see people, applying for jobs, and I used to do this too, and I never got anywhere. I would always say, oh, your company seems interesting. I think it'll be really good for me. It sounds like, I'm changing my career right now, so it's so perfect for me right now and where I am in my career. Don't say that. Most people don't care. So change this. This position sounds great to me. And instead, talk about how you're going to help them and how, they're posting a job. So clearly they have a need in their company and they have a gap that needs to be filled. They have some problems and they're hoping that hiring someone will alleviate their problems and make their life easier. So tell them how you're going to do that. For example, for a virtual assistant job, a lot of the times what you really need and what an employer is looking for is organization skills and high attention to detail, and also someone who's reliable. So tell them how you are that and how that's going to help them. For example, my organization skills and high attention to detail will allow you and your team to focus on what you're best at so your company could run more efficiently. If I'm an employer and I see someone telling me that, that sounds great to me. They're basically coming in and they're coming to solve my problems. And it's not me giving them a job that they want. So really, when you're applying for jobs, sending resumes or anything, always think in terms of how you're going to add value to them and communicate that. The same thing on Upwork. When you're sending proposals, make sure you're telling them how you're going to solve their problems, and don't just talk so much about yourself. So that's basically it. That runs through it. It runs through the types of jobs, what to do, or where to find them, and how to skip the line, how to go directly to the person, and how to actually communicate that. So that's it.
Hope you guys got some good value out of this. And one thing I want to note is I know a lot of people will get dissuaded when they see the requirements of a job. Requirement might be that you need 2 years minimum of college or, a bachelor's degree. One thing I want to point out is most companies don't know exactly what requirements they should put, and they're very flexible, and they just put in some requirement because they think they should. But as long as you can convince them that you're the right person for the job and you can do the job effectively, that's what matters most. Also, honestly, if you want to, smudge the truth on your resume and lie, I know tons of people who've done it, and 90% of companies aren't going to actually check to see if your major is, if your degree is valid, if your GPA is valid. Besides those like big, very large companies, like maybe like Chase Bank or something, who actually will do a check and, talk to the university to verify that you do have the degree. 90%, especially small businesses, if you have a degree on there and they might ask you some questions about it, but they're really not going to go into detail. And it really shouldn't be what matters. What matters is, can you do the job? Especially for a virtual assistant job, graphic design job, your results speak for themselves. So if you need to, smudge the truth to get the job, at the end of the day, if you do get the job, you still have to perform. So as long as you can perform and perform at a good level, that's what matters way more than just, what's on paper of a college degree or anything. So there you have it. Hope you guys got some value, and I really hope you guys can find some great online jobs. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, DM me on Instagram. And thanks for tuning in. Peace.